Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target Morning Brief, where you invest with fighter pot precision on a daily basis. Welcome to day 3 of being here in Anaheim. I did finally get a couple videos out from obviously my youngest is here for some USA volleyball stuff. So put that out over Facebook if you want to check that out. And obviously, you're my friend. But things are going great. Today marks the halfway point here on Wednesday, and then she wraps up Friday. A lot of fantastic learning going on, a lot of new techniques that they're teaching her, just in preparing her for not only school but for the club season coming up soon. So we're obviously very excited about that. And of course, she gets rewarded, right? She gets to go to Disneyland at the end of the week because Friday or Saturday and Sunday, because she is a whopping 13 years old after all. So that's how she's motivated. So I get that. All right, today we're going to talk about a Bitcoin of all things. We don't talk about Bitcoin very often, and I'm fine with that. Kind of left it for dead, but there's one thing going on today that we really can't ignore, which I think is going to move the price higher temporarily, and that's B Day. So you hear a term like B Day being thrown around, and you're like, well, what in the heck is that? Well, people like Cathie Wood, Jack Dorsey, and Elon Musk are all conference members at B Day, and I don't care what you call it. If those three are at the conference, I'm listening to what's being said. So that's at noon Eastern today, so 9 o'clock here on the Pacific coast. But what they're going to talk about, excuse me, is Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies, and it'll be interesting. People are already scoffing. They're saying, "Well, it's going to be a big pump and dump scenario. They'll talk it up, prices will go up, and then crash back down." I honestly believe that's going to happen, and that's why I'm looking at MSTR this morning. I was going to buy a little bit of a chunk before I came online, but I'll end up doing that here after the market open if I still like the price. But that's our number one long we're looking at today is MSTR MicroStrategy. That's Michael Saylor is the CEO. Basically put their entire balance sheet into Bitcoin, so he's pretty well vested his whole company in at that point. So it's really pretty interesting. But I don't care what your take is on this, and nobody knows the end of the movie as far as is Bitcoin going to the moon, is the dollar going away, is the U.S. going away? I don't know, but it is certainly interesting. And if you want to partake, or you think that it's you just don't want to miss out, then you gotta hop in and get some, right? Small portion in relation to your net worth, just in case it blows up. It's a little bit of Pascal's wager. If you've ever heard that term in relation to do you believe in God or not? Well, supposedly the storyline is that he said, well, I would rather believe in God and be wrong than not believe in God. Excuse me, rather believe in God and be, if I'm going to be wrong, I want to, the asymmetric upside is the fact that I don't want to be on the side of it where I don't believe in God and God actually exists. That would be a big penalty. So if you're thinking asymmetric upside, well, I'm not comparing Bitcoin to God. I'm just saying that if Bitcoin ends up running the world in 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and you're going to feel like the worst ever because you're not in on it, then buy some, right? Not a tremendous amount. We'll see, or whatever you can support with your discretionary cash flow, or up to like 10% of your portfolio if you really believe. You can treat it like gold, digital store of value, that sort of thing. So that's what we're going to talk about with Bitcoin and B Day. We're also going to talk about the 4% rule, which I've been asked about lately. Spending money down in retirement. That's kind of a regular topic for me to talk with folks. Our longs out there today, as you can see in the chat. Let me refresh that for the folks that just showed up. And coming at you there is we're going to look at MicroStrategy, MSTR, again, Michael Saylor, proxy for Bitcoin. Chipotle crushed earnings. Their stock's almost 5%. Yeah, some of it's a little bit off the beaten path as far as they're coming out with like a cauliflower menu. That, that's a thing. I got it. We have cauliflower rice around the house, so I mean I get it. It tastes more like cauliflower than rice, but hey, whatever. I do fully support healthy eating, even though if I'm not very good at it, I support it. And then you also have ISRG, which is Intuit Surgical, beat earnings, Intuitive Surgical, excuse me. Profit 392 over 307. Their shares are up about 4% and could be poised to go higher. On the short side, we have S&P, which missed earnings as well as Sleep Number missed earnings, and Sleep Numbers down almost 10%. So it may fall out of our window as far as what we're looking at. So thanks for checking in today, for checking us on replay. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notifications bell. If you want to join the room live, the incentive to do so is for $25. You get to pop into the chat window, which in the Q&A window, which you don't see. Ask me questions real time. I'll answer anything you got, whether it has to do with today's topic or not. And you basically have me as a captive audience for about 45 minutes. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. back. Here's our lineup card for Wednesday, July 21st. All right, make sure you have your window set up appropriately. Standard disclaimer applies. This is a financial education presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence for acting upon anything you hear this morning. Full disclaimer information is available on OTOTnow.com. Now let's get started. Mission objectives today: to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. I would say this is a grow our money objective, even though you might say it's a protect our money objective. If you wanted Bitcoin, like we said, it's going to be a proxy for the fiat currencies of the world. Yeah, we don't know. You just don't know how it's all going to play out. If somebody's telling you that they do, they don't, run away from those people. But own the fact that, yeah, nobody really knows where this is going. And it may be, it's already I will say it's already a mainstream currency in some countries with governments that are so unstable that they don't have their own currency, or their own currency has been debased so much that it's not usable anymore. And I know there's people out there going, that's going to be the dollar. Well, I'm like, well, I don't know. Maybe it is. I would like to hopefully think not. But, maybe it is. Maybe we spend ourselves into the dollar going away. I don't know. Crazier things could happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not preparing for that to happen. But if that happens, we have a lot other of decisions to make out there if that's the case. All right, question of the day: 4% rule. That's in relation to retirements and spending down, and how long is my money going to last? We'll get to that a little bit later. For the flow today: long, short, open, short, long. Excuse me. We'll do a market review, kind of see the futures are in the green, except for the NASDAQ. NASDAQ ran up almost 2% yesterday, so it's selling off a little bit this morning. I don't think we can really tell either way, because we had the, huge downer manic Monday. Then we had a ripper face off Taco Tuesday yesterday. Who knows what's in store for today, but it was starting to trend a little bit higher as we got into the brief this morning. So we'll take a look at the charts here in a second. We'll look at GBTC, which again is the Greystone Bitcoin Trust. And then we'll look at MSTR, which is a proxy. I think actually with the 2% fee associated with GBTC, I think MSTR is a more pure play, honestly. More pure play proxy. Can you say that? No, you can't. So I should say it's a better proxy than the GBTC, which is supposedly a pure play, but it's high fee. So we'll get into our short-term execution, and contingencies and academic resources are standard. And if it's your first time in the room, it looks like one person is. So if you want to learn more about what we're talking about, there's some information about the morning brief at OTOTnow.com under the academic resources there. So I can kind of let you know what we're doing on a daily basis. All right, let's go over to TD Ameritrade ThinkPipes platform, which is here. You have three screens in front of you. You have the S&P 500. We have MSTR. You can see it's gapping up, and then we just have luck and coffee, because I like to stare at that to see what's going on before the market opens. And I come back and check that all the time. So let's go ahead and zoom out and look at where we are with the overall market. All right, you can see on the far right, again, this is a 9-month chart of the S&P 500. You see we had some down days last week. There's red candlesticks. We had a big down day Monday, and then of course that big green candlestick yesterday, Tuesday. But if you really zoom out, which you really should, right, to keep everything in perspective, where are we? We're up big for the year for what potentially could have been a challenging 2021. The Delta variants out there with COVID, we don't know how strong that's going to be. Some places are starting, including my county in Texas, starting to clamp down again or raise certain levels out there in relation to COVID. I don't know. One thing I don't think is going to happen is we can make people wear masks or stay in small groups, but I don't think we're going to make people close businesses again. That was really kind of a painful, I would hopefully say, social experiment that we learn from and don't do again. Let people make their own decisions about that, but we'll see. Don't want to get political there. But when you look at this picture, realistically, we could drop all the way down to 400. I mean, that's 7 or 8% from now, rough Wednesday math. We could go back to where we were, around March Madness timeframe. And that's not a big deal. Remember, markets do correct. Everybody freaks out when it drops over 1% in a day, but hey, markets correct, right? Correction is 10%, bear market's 20%. These things happen. Don't go through your investing career and think that they won't, because they will. So just know when they start to happen, you're like, okay, well, Steve said this will happen, so I'm not going to freak out. Fair enough. All right, let's go ahead and look at the 5-day chart here, which is a little more telling about how today is going to act. I finally reprogrammed the SPY for the 5 days, so it'll pop up automatically. So yeah, we're not where we were. There was red lines this weekend, but we're not where we were last week. But we're within reach of it, right? We're thinking about it. So overall, looking pretty good as far as today and whether or not we're going higher. All right, specific trades, I like the longs better than the shorts. So we've got the S&P 500. You can see it trending up there. I've got MSTR here, and the other long I want to have pulled up is going to be Chipotle. Let's look at CMG. These are tough price points. Look at those. Look at those shares. So when you manage how many shares am I going to buy, what's my R going to be? It's kind of miserable, right? So we may stay away from Chipotle and go with ISRG. Still $1,000. I mean, you're going to have hard math to do either way. There is a calculator sitting on the OTOTnow.com if you need to use a calculator to try to figure it out. We're going to start with the longs, take a look at them, flip to the shorts, especially if the market turns on us. All right, that's what we have for our opening plan. Set your charts up accordingly. Let's go through the around the world review. Here is where we are with the Dow futures in the green there the most. Refresh that for you. All right, Dow and S&P in the green, and you got NASDAQ a little bit in the red. Let's take a look at Europe. Green again, bouncing pretty good, percent plus across the board. S&P is one of our shorts. That's down 3.5% on a negative earnings story. Let's see, Asia is split, but overall kind of leaning higher. You saw the bonds are up, and we've touched almost 1.1 on Monday. Now we're up to 1.268. I know you guys get bored by tracking this stuff, but it's really pretty important to kind of watch what's going on in the bond market. So we shall see. All right, free Brittany Bill. All right, burner. We're talking about freeing Brittany. That poor girl. She's not helping herself on social media. I will say that. I feel for her situation, but yeah, she's got to make a little better case than lashing out at everyone. And that's like a very young person type of thing to do. So anyhow, I don't think she's helping her case. All right, oil. You know, OPEC's restricting, releasing more oil, increasing the oil supply out there. So that's why the oil went down, popped up a little bit yesterday. Not too worried about that. Gold and silver are split. And then here's your crypto. Yeah, these are going to pop today on a stupid headline. So that's why we're trading, MSTR. Buy it today, sell it at the market close. That's just kind of the thing, right? Can't guarantee that makes money, see the disclaimer, but certainly when you have a major conference like this, there's going to be people sitting in the crowd on their phones buying this stuff, buying Bitcoin while they're talking, right? When Cathie Wood, Jack Dorsey, and Elon Musk all say something, and especially if they agree, watch out, it's going higher. And then what does it do? Why simply react when you have the time and energy to overreact? It'll probably overshoot up some ridiculous 10, 15% today and then sell off tomorrow. So anyhow, if you're a trader, consider that thesis. Just be careful. You don't know if you're right, so set appropriate limits. All right, let's get into today's headlines. You do have some analyst calls here. I believe these were all increasing calls across the board. Netflix did have their earnings. I don't know. I don't think you can make much more money in Netflix than's already been made. That's kind of my take. Electronic arts and video gaming, that is always a good one. I like the index funds Hero or Espo, which is esports, if you're interested in that sort of thing. Haven't talked about my sponsorship with the local Austin Burners lately because I haven't got any updates. So anyhow, I need to check back in on that. All right. Cryptocurrencies, B-Day, that's Coca-Cola. Again, Sugar Water. It's a pretty safe name if you want to get into it. Jamie Dimon's going to be around for five more years at least. And again, they plan on him being past that. He's 65. He was in the chair. He was the only major person of the CEOs that were in the chair that survived 2007 through 2009. Obviously, I love the stock. I think you have your best exposure to both retail banking as well as investment grade banking. And as far as jockeys go out there, he's one of the best CEOs in the business. I mean, the guy could probably run for president and win. I don't know. I guess maybe anybody can do that now. But yeah, I think he's very well respected worldwide, actually. That's a nasty picture of flooding in China. I haven't seen that. Flooding in China, everybody's on the beach in Europe with the COVID variant. All right. I do want to look at FinViz real quick before we go over and set up for the open. So you can kind of see the story behind MSTR. And again, it's like Bitcoin, but not quite, right? So you had this big run up, right? Now it's been kind of selling off. So when you look at that entry point, pretty good entry point if you believe the thesis. Again, so I don't necessarily, I can't tell you I 100% believe the thesis, but if you do, this is a pretty good way to play it. When you look at the GBTC, it just doesn't track as well, if you will, the actual price of Bitcoin. So wait for that to come up. Oh, that's right. You got to do Yahoo for GBTC. GBTC. Just show you that chart real quick, and then we'll get set up for the open. Let's go 1 year. All right, so same sort of thing. It ran up, back in here. This is February highs and sold off to about, half or so. But I think MSTR is a better play here. All right, we're inside of a minute getting set up. So let's go set up your two longs there. And the set up MSTR long and CMG long. Look at those numbers. Think of the stops. Are going to be $5 here, $15 there. So get ready for it. Give me a second to get set up for the open. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the On Time, On Target play of the day, Wednesday, July 21st. We have three screens in front of you. You have the S&P 500 on a 1 minute chart. All the way to the left, you can see the futures are we're up big, dropped, and then now trending higher. So that's good news for the longs. We have two longs in front of you, MSTR, which is MicroStrategy, proxy for Bitcoin, and CMG that just released earnings. That's Chipotle Mexican Grill. There's the loudest bell in the world. Hopefully that wasn't so loud on your guys' end. But let's zoom in. We're going to watch MSTR first. Again, looking at a $5 stop here. So we need this thing to flop around a little bit before we hop in. Same thing with Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG. We need it to actually probably come down a little bit. You can see it's right in our window of that 5 to 10% that we're looking for, and same on both sides here. If we do need to flip short, again, we'll be looking at, or if you want to have other screens, if you have a bunch of them, I don't have a bunch today because I'm on the road, but Sleep Number and SAP are what we're looking at short. Our third long is ISRG. We'll have to switch to that. Okay, we're starting to see some movements in MicroStrategy here. Again, volume can be tough just because of the price point. We certainly can't take this here if it's just going to continue to go higher. Let's focus on MicroStrategy. All right, that's a good sign. So low of the day now, 535. We would have to say 534. We're looking at a $5. Okay, this is good. 533 now is the low of the day. So 538 is our entry point. Again, it's a $5 stop. So 533 is the low. Looking at if it flips and goes higher, 538. So keep an eye on that 538. That's the entry point. I'm going to put a little tick right there. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. Put a little tick for 538. If you see it hit that, then we're going in. All right, ISRG. Not quite as much. All right, 533 held here. I had my eye on it. So 538 is that. Nope, it didn't. 532 now. So 537 is your entry point. I'll make these bigger, obviously, when we enter the trade. But if 532 holds, we got the market going long. That's good. If 532 holds for low of the day, it's 537. Higher is your entry with a $5 stop for all your math. All right, let's take a look at Sleep Number. Who would buy Sleep Number? I would not. Down 12%, so it's down out of our range. Again, keeping an eye on that 537 long. So 112 all the way down to 98, even though high that now can't quite get into that. Let's take a look at S&P. Down 530. That's not a bad entry. We'll keep this up here. All right, 532 did not hold. We're down at 531 now. So 531, 536 is our entry point going higher. I do think this flips and goes higher after the initial profit taking is done. So again, 531 lower stop and 536 going higher. Now it looks like it's finally going to hit that. And again, when I know you stab at this, you won't get exactly 536, but you're going to be pretty close, is my take. And again, 531 even is your lower stop. 3 minutes into the day, you see the market coming back in a little bit, so it's not going to be rip your face off Wednesday like yesterday was. We're watching MSTR, watching for it to click up to 5. Well, we can't take that entry because it went back down too quick. So up to 536 and holding for a second, and we're going to get into, there it is right there. 536 is your entry. That's what we want. We got our lower stop here. I'm going to draw it at 531.36. Just realize it's 531 even. I don't think it's going to be a player today, but just so you know, that is your lower stop. let's put us in the arrow here so everybody knows what we're doing in case you walk in a little bit late to this. All right, so 536 is your entry. Your first R is going to be 541, and then your exit's going to be 551. So again, it's a 5R, or it's a $5 R as this thing goes higher. So this will probably, I don't think it'll hit it while we're watching this morning. It may scream higher. But when you think about, these are stops you want to set for the day. So set 531, 551 for the day, and then go to the gym, go to your job, do your workouts, do what you normally do through your day. And at one point you're going to get a notification saying, hey, your trade executed, and then you can run with bated breath to your phone to see whether it went higher or lower, right? But we're in that trade. Let's see. I think I'm just going to do the one trade today. I kind of do like this setup though. 136 be a 15. Nope, I'm not going to do another trade because my brain doesn't have the math for it. So have this set up, have your stops in again, 531 at the lower boundary, 551 at the upper boundary. Let's zoom out and take a look at what's going on in the bigger picture for long-term investing. DraftKings, I got called out on this last night by a client, and it's like, all right. And it's like, well, sell it if you don't believe. But I have you in it for a reason, and that reason is that I believe in the sports gambling legalization across the United States. I think DraftKings is the best player to have in that spot. So that's why DraftKings is going higher. Now, I also have a huge gain in it already, and most of my clients do. So it's kind of one of those, I really don't care if it flops around because I think it will end up higher in the long term. Energy up today, kind of surprising. NVIDIA had a 4-for-1 split yesterday. I did get asked about that yesterday. It's just too expensive. It was too expensive before the split. So now it's too expensive after the split. Great company, just too expensive. Wind bouncing up nicely. There's our luck in the green. I didn't check the chart, but it's nice to see a couple percent in the green. That probably puts it around 1470 is my guess. Some other names in here that we like. Palantir's another one. All right, let's look on the downside. See what's selling off. TQLB, Clickstream, those are speculative names. VIP is VIP Shop. That's the Chinese e-tailer. It's selling off again. China's been problematic. You got KWeb right here too. I got it. If you're losing faith in KWeb, just let me know. I'll find you something else. But it's dropped low enough now to where it's just basically a hold. And I've been nibbling on more for the more aggressive accounts, not in the conservative accounts. I wouldn't touch it for those accounts. So, all right, let's go back, check on the upside one more time. All right, check on our trade, and we'll go over to our question of the day. All right, we're in the green on our trade. We're up 0.4R, 0.3R, whatever. You can simply hold on to that. All right, let's go over to back to Google Chrome. We'll pull up that 4% rule, which I don't have it open on the screen here. So give me a second to pull that up. Investopedia, the best out there for researching things. Okay, the 4% rule, it'll probably say where it was, I can't remember the guy's name that came up with it, but it probably will. It was out of a paper, I want to say in the, doesn't have it here. So we'll get to that. Maybe it has the history of it down below. So historical data from 26 to 76, is that representative of today? Well, I would say no, because you have a lot more tech presence today. So you can expect returns to be higher. If you are in a conservative portfolio that doesn't have exposure to technology, then no, the 4% rule fits just fine. If you're holding to Chevron and ExxonMobil and Ford and Coca-Cola and Procter and Gamble and J&J, I'm trying to fight back a yawn from talking about those names, but those are strong, good names for retirement. So I jest a little bit, but they have strength in those names, and those names don't sell off that hard. But the 4% rule was, I believe, a PhD study that basically lets you say, I have, whatever your portfolio is, regardless of size. If you start when you enter retirement pulling out 4% a year, your money's going to last you through your expected life expectancy, right? Which is 82 for men, 84 for females. Again, overall, once you're 70, then your life expectancy goes a lot higher, right? Again, if you're 70, your life expectancy is up in the high 80s. If you happen to be 86, your life expectancy is in the 90s, right? Because you've already made it past the normal life expectancy. So it's a safe number. Now, I will say this is that if you design a portfolio to yield more than 4%, you can take more than 4% out. I specifically, for my retirees, designed them for 5%, which is right here. And folks have said, well, if you have a standard portfolio, then that doesn't work. And I'm like, I 100% agree. You need to have somebody who tailors their portfolios to yield 5%. If you just buy the, 30% bonds or 70% bonds, 30% stocks, and add in some emerging markets and some international, robo type investing. No, there's no way that's going to yield 5%. It has to be specifically designed to do so. So if this is a 401k that's never been touched, or TSP that's just sitting there, you have no idea what it's in, or it's in some form of life expectancy type fund, target date funds, if you will, then yeah, 5% is not good. You have to use 4%. But if you're generating 5%, then you can spend up to 5%. It does account for inflation. Advantages and disadvantages. Well, the advantages is going to keep you safe. The disadvantage is it's going to keep you safe. So why would I say something so stupid? Well, you can be so safe that you end up not spending a tremendous amount of your money that you spend a lifetime earning. So therefore, you can play it too close to the edge and you have all this money. And maybe, if you're doing everything you want to do in life, that's great. But if you're not doing everything you want to do, then feel free to do everything you want to do, as long as you stay within, I would say, 5%. But in this case, 4%, it's pretty conservative. But just realize what you're doing. You're passing on a significant amount of money to some heirs, which, if your family is financially savvy, then obviously that's a smart thing to do. If they are spenders, then that may not be the best thing to do, right? Because it'll light it on fire faster than you can think about it. But if you're passing on $1 million or $2 million to people that are responsible, you could be assisting them build generational wealth. That's what I'm trying to do. Teach my kids so that when money flows down to them, they teach their children and their children after that, and basically you don't ever have to worry about money again if you handle it correctly. So that's what we're trying to build here, and that's what I try to teach people. So does it still work? Yes. Will the 4% rule work? Yes. 30 years or more, starting at age 65. If you have $500,000, it's going to last about 25 years. The calculators are online if you want them. And again, I think it's a slightly too conservative, but if you're managing your own money or nobody's managing it, then yeah, use 4%. If you want to get a little more focused, then you could have 5% off your money. All right, that's what I have for you today. Let's go back to our trade, see how MicroStrategy is doing here. All right, we got bounced out of the trade. It actually took south right at 531. So we check back, we get the red X of shame. So you're out 1 R unit. Don't chase this as a trade. But I kind of like where it's going here. We'll see where it bottoms. I may pick some back up, go to the upside there. But again, remember the wash sale rule. If you pick some up, if you're down an R, you got to call it quits on the day. All right, that's all I've got for today. Hope you guys enjoyed the show. We'll see you back tomorrow morning on Thursday. Have a good one.